Hi guys, it's me from G-Dub. So today, well, not just today, but over the next couple of days, I'm going to be attempting to fit what I've got in this little box here. I join you from inside the luxurious van, which we get in there now. Most of it's done, but the piece de resistance is this little baby. Now hopefully you'll be able to see it. I might change the camera, because we've got another camera now. Can you see that? That is an EC-160. It's a Sargent unit. Basically, it is a like a power supply unit. That's what it says along the top. It is gorgeous. Hopefully, you can see that there. It looks absolutely fantastic. Now, what this little baby was going to do, basically, it's got in the top here. You see these little fuses. These are for things such as permanent live, the fuel pump. The blue one there's the fridge. Got the battery charger, you've got some lights that you can have on a light circuit, and then you've got auxiliary, which is, you know, whatever you want that to be. There are a few little buttons, such as there to turn on the power or not. You've got the switching from the leisure battery to the vehicle battery and the normal one. As you do that, there's a little LCD display here that will show you what your battery charge is like, which is quite handy, on a little digital display, just at a flick of a switch. And then there's the power there, just for turning the lights on or off, and then also the power to the water pump on or off as well. And then right down the bottom, and I love this bit here, we've got an RCD for basically mains hookup. So if you want, you know, like going to campsites and stuff like that, or even at home, you can plug in and run a lot of your electrics off of that. But particularly things such as perhaps the fridge. Mine isn't a mains hookup fridge, it's just a 12-volt fridge. But you've got things like, it's got a battery charger inbuilt into it, so it'll actually charge the battery. So not only will the battery charge as you are driving along from the split charge relay, I've already done a video showing the installation of that. This is sort of a video that follows on after that. But not only will it charge the battery through the split charger, but it will also charge the battery through this unit here when you connect up to mains electric. So say you're going on a long trip, and you know you're going to be using the fridge for a couple of days, but perhaps you've been away. What you can do is just plug in at home before you go, maybe for a day or so, charge your battery up. You can use the little LCD thing on here to check that you're fully charged. So there we go. And then right at the bottom, a couple of little lights, like warning lights, just telling you whether everything's A-okay or not. And then there's the little battery charger on or off there. So this, I ordered off of eBay. If you type Sargent, which Sargent is S-A-R-G-E-N-T, you just see it on the side there, Sargent EC-160. There's lots of different versions. In previous campers I've had and I've installed before, what you might call a Zig unit, you can get versions of these that don't necessarily do everything, a lot cheaper. So you can look around. For me, this was great. It's going to look really, really good. And then also, if I pick you up and move you, if I show you on here, you'll be able to say, look, there we go, in the back of my units, that's where the Sargent EC-160 is going to go. And so I'm very excited. Very, very excited. Let's just rest you back there. Can you see me okay? So to install this, there are lots of different things. So inside the box, you have this little manual. I'll show it to the camera that's not got so much glare. Little manual, few little screws. Tells you how to wire everything in. Disclaimer. So we must do a disclaimer because we're dealing with electrics. Although I have a t-shirt and I sound like I'm going on about, I actually haven't got a clue. I'm just a guy at home, probably much like some of you, who's having a go at converting my camper as cheap as possible. I've done this before with other camper vans and nobody died, so I'm going to have another go doing it with this one. I've not fitted a Sargent before, I've fitted a Zig unit before, but if you are not confident in what you are doing, please do not copy what I'm doing. I take no responsibility for your stupidity or mine. If anyone dies in the creation of this video, either myself, which that's all right because that's my life, or you, I can't be to blame for that. So if you're not sure, please pay an auto-electrician to come along and have a go. But if this is something that you feel confident in doing, by all means, do it at your own risk. Disclaimer will come across the bottom. Okay, that's the boring stuff done. So now what you need when doing electrics, one of these, this is like almost like, I don't know what you'd call it, it's not pneumatic, but it's basically a spring-loaded crimper. This is a lot better than the naff ones you get in the really cheap box sets. This was about 15 quid. This is great. It's got a wire stripper along the top. See those little jaws? Go, go, go. These things are great. It's well worth investing in one of these if you're going to be doing the electrics yourself. You can get even better ones than these, but this is fine for what I'm using it for. Another thing which is really, really good, they're not the greatest, but they're cheap, are just the big box of these off of eBay. These are crimp terminals. You can get these for a few quid. It's well worth just buying one of these with loads of different assortments. It's got spade connectors, bullet connectors, male and female, all different colours. It's just really, really helpful if you want to be doing wiring and stuff like that. It just helps you so you know what's what. Another thing worth buying, go down to Wilco's, you can get these just for £1 or £2. Are these different colours of insulation wire. You got earth ones and red and blue and black, all the colours of the rainbow. There you go. So they're just a few quid, well worth buying. From places like Wilco's, just helps you colour code stuff when you know what you're doing. And then I've got a little USB in here, a little USB thingy that I'm going to fit just down here. You can see I've put the housing in. Basically, I'm sitting on the back seat, converts into a bed, and so on the left hand side, which is the window side, I've just got these drawn because it's very sunny. A USB charger that's going to run 12 volt. So basically my kids, when we're going on holiday, they can sit there and plug their tablets in, knock themselves out on a 6-hour drive down to Cornwall. Then I've also got one down here built into the unit, which you just can't see, but you can see it here. So just here, there's one there as well. And so that's the same. So that's already in that one. It's not quite wired in yet, but a couple of USBs. That's really handy. Worth thinking about where you want your electrics and why. And then another thing which you'll find just to help with the installation of this sort of business. In here I've got an amp meter in this box. You can see it there. It's well worth getting, again 15 quid or a tenner, something like that. So I've got that. That's well worth having and using. I've got just a little, I keep little boxes from things that are small, and then within that I put in all my offcuts of wire. I've got loads of cable connectors and things of all sorts of different assortments. These ones, little block connectors, I've got all various different sizes, larger ones for a bit more current to go through. And then I've got things like these little sleeves. I bought these from Halfords, I think. They're certainly not the cheapest place, but you can get them anywhere. These little sleeves, ta-da, which are shrink wrap, which you put over wires and then you heat them and it shrinks them over the wire. That's quite helpful. So I have all these little like boxes full of odd bits and pieces that I either left over. I've got all like different bits of wire and stuff in there as well from when we did the split charge relay thing. Now, something else I want to show you is this. Now, if I get a Stanley blade and try not to cut my leg open, this has been really well wrapped up. Whoa. I've got to be careful because I don't want to cut it. And I certainly don't want to cut it myself. So what we have got here is, ta-da! It's blue and it looks amazing. So this is a, this is basically 3-core wire. Can you see that? 3-core wire. So this is the sort of wire that you use for housing electrics. So this is the main stuff. It's actually called Arctic, a bit like the Arctic where it's cold. And so this is going to get wired through, like wired into that, through the bulkhead, along the back, into the EC-160 just back up here behind me. This wire is basically, it kind of lasts longer in the cold, so it's not going to be susceptible to cracking, breaking down. To be honest, in a camper van you probably don't need to go to the extremes of this, but this isn't a lot more than normal wiring. I got this, I can't remember how much it was like £20–30. If you go on eBay, Arctic wire, mains wire, you'll find this stuff. I got slightly thicker core because I think, come on, let's be hardcore, let's be able to get a lot of electric through it. So I've got that as well, and in a camper van, even though it's insulated and all that, you know, like just for a couple more quid, good job, you know it's not going to fail, you know you're not going to have any problems, and it looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Okay, so what we're going to do now is I don't know where I'm going to start. I think where I'm going to start is having a look at the instructions as I drink something. Now, if you have got a van, you'll find a wonderful place to hide stuff is in the cupboards. So your kids don't see what you get up to when you're working on the van. Drinking contraband. Naughty daddy.